In James chapter 1, verse 19, Jimmy says this, "Know this, my beloved brothers." As we will see, James isn't going to pull any punches over the next few verses. He's going to tell it like it is. And so he wants to use these very affectionate terms, beloved brothers, to remind them that he's speaking out of love. He says, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear." Have you ever reacted before you understood a situation? Boy, I have. Sometimes it's with worry, sometimes with anger, sometimes just trying to help but doing the wrong thing because I didn't listen long enough to know what was really going on. In any and every situation, we ought to patiently seek to understand the reality of what's being said or what's going on before we react. One of the best ways to be quick to perceive is to be slow to speak. This will come as a shock to some of you, but this can be a problem for me from time to time. I am way too quick to speak. I like to be heard. I have a mentor who is known for being slow to speak and quick to hear. I've asked him for advice before, and he will look at me for a few moments quietly and then just kind of wander off, just walk away, leaving me wondering if he heard what I said. And then I'll get a call from him the next day or the next few days with incredibly perceptive and wise feedback. Allow me to put it to you and to myself this way. The most important thing in a situation is not to be heard, but to perceive reality accurately. In our culture today, we have this absurd notion that everyone's truth needs to be heard. That's the most important thing, as if truth were relative. This causes many of us in this world to live in a lie, in a counterfeit reality, never knowing themselves, their God, or what they're about. No, the most important thing is to discover the truth of the situation first. So James says that we should be slow to speak, and he says we should be slow to anger. Why is anger the example James goes to? Because anger is usually the one that is most guilty in this area, the most for going off without all the facts, without any perception of reality. One day in high school, I saw a good buddy of mine walking with his girlfriend, and I walked past him in the hallway, and I said, "What's up, bro?" Something like that. And he promptly responded by telling me that if I didn't get away from them, he was going to kick my you-know-what. And I had no idea what had just happened. Well, just the day before, he and I had sat next to each other in class and had a good time. He was one of my good friends. It was like this for a few days, and then finally I discovered he had misheard my greeting. I don't remember exactly what he thought I said, but he thought I was insulting them enough that he was ready to fight me. I bring this story up to say that if he had just held off in his anger just for a few moments to try and understand what I had said, then none of that would have happened. So we're to be slow to anger, and here's why. James says, "For the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God." This is so important. We often talk about, hey, Jesus got angry when he flipped the tables or had strong words for the Pharisees. We talk about other characters in the Bible getting angry, like Moses or Elijah, and it seems to be praised or at least elevated in Scripture. These stories are not the anger of man, though. They are the anger of God, a righteous anger that is always just. It is very difficult for you and I to maintain a righteous anger. Even if our anger starts from a just place, we make it often too big and we mishandle it. But usually we're just mad over things we shouldn't be mad about, and half the time it's because we haven't paid attention to the situation. Sometimes being quick to hear means to empathize with the other person. Even if they have wronged you, they have truly wronged you, have you taken a moment to pay attention to who they are and what's going on in their lives? Oftentimes another person's sin towards you is a result of something going on in their lives that is bigger than what has happened. With regard to this current crisis, remember that none of us have ever gone through anything like this before, whether it be a family member or a neighbor or a friend or a store or a restaurant or the church or the government. We are all trying to figure this thing out as we go. James' message to us is to only react when we are sure of the facts, and always with God's love and Jesus in mind. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.